welcome to Sassy Lassies in the Kitchen.
Woo! Today we are making our first pumpkin recipe.
Pumpkin!
Which is
Pumpernickel.
Yeah,
Pumpkin.
pumpkin, apple, walnut, harvest rice, which
Harvest
sounds
rice.
very autumn-y.
Fall-esque.
Yes. And interestingly, this recipe is also vegan for you vegan folks who may be watching this show. This is a recipe for you.
We're all accommodating.
Woo!
So this is actually a pretty quick one. We cooked our rice ahead of time, but it calls for 1 3/4 cup cooked brown rice. So you're gonna scoop that on out into a bowl. So go ahead and scoop on out your, nope, that's totally wrong.
Don't do that. Don't listen to Darcy.
Don't do that. Leave your rice alone. Put it back on the stove.
So what we're going to do first is we're going to take the pumpkin, which is from a can here, and Trader Joe's, I walked in and it was like magic because right in front of me was a huge tower of pumpkin, and they had pumpkin butter, and I almost bought it, but it was like almost $3, so I couldn't justify it for a jar that was this big. So maybe some other time.
Next time. We'll find a recipe that calls for pumpkin butter. Maybe we'll make our own pumpkin butter. We'll churn it.
Woohoo! That would be a treat.
I feel a little overzealous there. Okay, so instead of rice, get your pumpkin. It calls for 1 cup of your canned pumpkin. And slop that in a microwave-safe bowl.
I'm guessing 1 cup is about 8 ounces, which is about half of this. So
Yeah.
I got really excited and dumped the whole thing in, and then realized that it was 15 ounces. So I took half.
Good job, good job. All right, and then you are going to take 1½ tablespoons of apple cider vinegar.
Looks like this. Up until last year, I had never used apple cider vinegar for anything. So imagine my surprise when I found out this is actually a thing.
Yes, I made a salad dressing out of it last year, and it was really good. I rather enjoyed it. All right, 1½ You are also going to need maple syrup. Now, I went to Target, and I'm not a maple syrup eater, so I got just a little bitty baby bottle. I was quite excited.
We have this light syrup, which tastes the same, but I was really skeptical, but this is all we had in our fridge, so I'm just making do. It probably won't be as delicious as Darcy's.
With my itty bitty baby bottle. So that is going to be, how much? 1½ tablespoons? Is that right? No, 1 to 3 tablespoons, depending on how sweet.
I'm going to start with 1½ I think a halfway is probably a safe bet.
I'm going to go with 2, just to be different. There we go. All right. And the last thing we're going to put in this microwave-safe dish is your spices. So we have 1 tablespoon of parsley, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of fine pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I can just throw those on in there. And when you have all that in your bowl, you can go ahead and mix it on up. And then we're going to stick it in the microwave to warm it up a little bit. I don't know. How long do you think we should warm this up for, Beck?
I would go and check like I do it like for like 45 seconds and then check.
All right.
You don't want to get too crazy because you might end up with boiling.
Yeah. Boiling pumpkin just doesn't sound good unless it's in a soup. Alrighty. So I'm going to put this in the microwave for 45 seconds then. So I also happen to have a pumpkin pie in the oven at the moment. Not a homemade one, as we will be doing later this month. But I was at Target getting my ingredients, and they were having a sale on Marie Callender's pumpkin pie, and I was like, shoot, it's October, I can't say no. And so
So you didn't.
So I didn't say no. Alright, so after your pumpkin mixture is done microwaving and getting warm, you're going to get your 1 3/4 cups of rice and mix it together with the pumpkin mixture.
That feels sufficiently warm.
Does yours smell as delightful as mine does?
Yeah, it smells pretty delightful.
Although that could be my pumpkin pie now that I'm thinking about it.
I thought the parsley flakes were kind of a weird addition. I don't know why. When I'm looking at the recipe, I would never have thought parsley flakes.
Yeah, it is a little different. I guess we'll see what the parsley flakes add. I feel like 1 3/4 cups of rice is not very much.
Me neither.
So I'm going to use 2 cups of rice because I feel like a 1/4 cup can't hurt. And I want a little more of this mixture.
Well, apparently the parsley was supposed to go in a different step, but whatever.
Parsley was?
Yeah, I thought that was considered a spice, but then they mentioned
I did
it later.
too. Well, whatever floats your boat. Alright. When you add the pumpkin to the rice, it says mix it good. It actually says well. They're clearly more educated than I. That college degree didn't get me nothing. Except a food blog.
I'm still stirring mine, even though I think it's been well mixed for a while now. So
I'm stirring away here. Want every single grain of rice to be
evenly coated.
Pumpkin.
No grain of rice left behind.
No grain of rice left behind. All right, it's probably sufficient. All right, this is what we're looking at right now. It basically looks like orange rice. That makes sense. Okay, so we already prepped our apples and onions by dicing them. But if you have not, go ahead and dice your apples and onions. When you're done with them, dump them in the rice. And then I believe we are to fold those into the rice mixture. Yes. Now, when your apples and onions are sufficiently what's the word I'm looking for? Cohabiting? No, co-inhabiting? Whatever. When they're living together with the rice.
Cohabiting, I think.
Cohabiting. I don't know. Then you can add in your apples and walnuts, olive oil, parsley flakes. We already did that. And we already did the salt too, so forget that. Okay. So what have you added in?
I just put the apples. I'm only going to put half of the onion, though, because this seems like an awful lot of onion. And
Yeah. I put all of mine in, and I'm kind of regretting it now. So I support your half onion approach. Fourth, my child. Oh, I hear my bunny. Good. I couldn't find him earlier. I thought he was lost. I was mildly concerned. All right, so then you're going to add a half cup of chopped walnuts.
And 2 tablespoons. Okay, so I'm like really, really cheap, and I went to Trader Joe's, and it cost $8 for a bag of walnuts and like $4 for a bag of raisins. But I found this trail mix packet that have walnut, raisins, cashews, and almonds, and something called filberts. I guess that's a kind of nut. I don't know. But, you know, instead of picking them out, I'm like, you know what? I bet all of these things would be delicious in the harvest rice. So.
Brilliant. That's really funny because I almost bought a bag of trail mix to pick out the raisins and the walnuts too.
This only cost me like $5.50, and it had 10 packets in it. As opposed to like the 11 I would have spent if I had just bought the walnuts and the raisins individually.
And that's how you're a sassy lassie. That's what we do. All right, so walnuts, give those a good mix. And then we have, I believe, 2 tablespoons, is that right, of olive oil? 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 1, 2. And then I believe 2 tablespoons of raisins, which Beck already tossed in her trail mix surprise. And I'm just going to use 1 box of raisins because I'm going to assume that's 2 tablespoons. Although now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't really look like it. So I'm going to add 1 more box of raisins.
And optionally it says that you can put chickpeas in it, but I hate chickpeas, so I said no, I am not taking that option. No, thank you.
Well, I love me some chickpeas, so I am most certainly going to be adding those on top when we're ready for them. Oh no, my pie is ready. Sorry, 1 moment.
Show and tell. Show the rest of the pasta off, eh?
Oh yeah, that is a fluffy pie. I know we're not cooking pie right now, but look how fluffy that is.
Woo! I made an apple pie last week from scratch because we got these apples from our neighbor, and it turned out really freaking delicious.
I love apple pie. My grandpa makes one called Gold Ribbon apple pie, and it has like, I think it has Rolos in it or so. I don't know. It has caramel in it though, and it's like caramel apple pie. It is so good. Or I'm pretty sure.
To make that recipe for Christmas.
Yeah, we might have to give Grandpa a call. Grandpa, will you give sugar and sassy
giving a shout out to?
Oh yes, that was my shout out to Grandpa. Hi Grandpa, thanks for watching. Oh yes, we also need to give a shout out to Patty Evans. Thank you for watching. Yes, our fan base is growing. Tell your friends. Tell your wife. All right, is that it? Are we done?
That's it.
The optional warm chickpeas. All right, let me warm those up real fast. Hey, don't diss on the chickpeas.
Too late. Ours did.
That's what makes these a meal, because for all y'all vegetarians out there, wow, all y'all, I never say that. Don't know where that came from.
Came from Pennsylvania. That's where it came from.
Pennsylvania.
Exactly where it came from.
I'm assimilating. Chickpeas are a good source of protein and therefore make this a balanced meal.
This is delicious.
You're already eating it? Come on.
Sorry.
Wait for chickpeas.
I think I made the right choice with the onions. Picture time!
Yeah, it says 1 cup of chickpeas. I know that's probably a cup. All right. And there we are. That is your pumpkin apple harvest rice.